You're listening to the RM Show. This is your host, Roger Muntu, aka DJ RM, as you like to call me. What a pleasure to know that so many of you guys listen to us all over the world, and we thank you so much for staying tuned every Wednesday and every Friday listening to the RM Show. I want to say hello, give a big shout out to all my friends in Accra and Ghana. You are listening to me tonight, and you know I will name you, or I'll call your name, or I'll give you a shout out if you send me a message on WhatsApp or +1 703 350 3731. What's going on in Africa, man? That's what everybody's asking me. What's going on? Listen, welcome aboard. You know, we're about to take off with some great music, but also talking about the subject of the week, as we always do. And so many of you guys wrote to me asking me what's going on. We keep on hearing what's going on in the DRC. You know, Africans in the diaspora and also those Congolese all over the world are asking what's going on. How long will the atrocities and the massacres continue in the eastern part of the Congo? Enough is enough, they're saying. So we are talking about it today. I will have some guests, but we'll listen to some great music. And as always, you know, we have the entertainment news with Nika Strong and also Why Not Lady DJ. Let's take off with Shatta Wale, who I met when I was in Accra in Ghana. You're listening to the RM Show at VOA Africa. This is your host, Roger Muntu. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you listen to us in Zambia, I want to thank you as well. Those who listen to us in Nigeria and those who listen to us in Mozambique and South Africa, why not? We're talking about the DRC airstrike that killed 9, and now the number has, changed to about 13. We heard it all at VOA here on last Friday, and so many people start writing to us and asking us what's going on. An airstrike killed at least 9 people, including 7 children, on Friday at the displacement camp in the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern city of Goma. And we covered that here with all of our colleagues, and one of my colleagues is here, George Leonard Sagnon, with us in the studio. He never really miss any English RM show. It's always good to have you here, George. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, Roger.
Your mic is not working. I don't know why.
Okay, because I switched to microphone.
Yeah, but that one. Yeah, if you can have this mic.
Yes.
I still cannot hear you.
Michelle.
If we can have George's mic.
On mic
yeah,
5.
now I can
yes,
hear you.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
Thank you. Roger, a pleasure to be here. And always, when we're talking about the big Congo, Congo is, Africa.
Yeah.
Because Congo is right in the middle of the continent. So if Congo have problems, it's like all over the continent, facing the same issues. So we're here to learn, and we're here to express our views about what's going on in the Congo, and how maybe through our communication today, through our talk show, maybe Congolese can have a little bit of hope, especially the listeners and the viewers, because they are in the trouble right now, Roger. If I see what's going on in the East, the humanitarian crisis is a lot. It's very appealing. So we're here to discuss about it, and I will have a message for the leader. We need a strong leadership.
You use the word trouble, and as you know, we covered here at Voice of America a 2-year offensive by the M23 rebels, who are allegedly backed by Rwanda, has moved closer to Goma in recent months, right? And we all followed here at VOA how that airstrike killed people, children and women, this past Friday. It's heartbreaking when you hear children and women.
It is heartbreaking. And Roger, if they don't stop the war, we might, see something bigger than what we're seeing right now. We might see more killings. We might see more humanitarian crisis. Because if the war keeps going on, it's going to be a disaster.
But then you always like to say it's going to affect the whole Africa. Exactly.
Look at Congo is right in the middle. Zambia, Uganda,
right.
Rwanda, Burundi. It's going to be a big mess, and we don't want that. Look at today, the climate change with on all the flooding, coming from Burundi to Tanzania through even to Brazil. Here also we have
it's affecting
all the people.
Those
so if on top of that we have a war, it's going to be a disaster and a great disaster, Roger. We need to stop it now. They need leadership. I'm calling on a strong leadership.
We're going to come back and discuss about leadership. Let me introduce our guest here, Mr. Kanku Kalala, who's here with us. He's honorary, I should say, UDPS representative here in the United States. It's so good to have you, Mr. Kanku Kalala, for the first time in the RM show. I know we had interview outside of this place, but to have you in VOA building in this show, it's always a pleasure. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. M2 Show, like I used to call
that you used to call me. You still call me. Like you still call me. Yes. So, Mr. Kanku Kalala, we're talking about how the diaspora, are asking, are begging the government, and I'm saying that you are part of the UDPS, which is the political party in power right now in the DRC. But the diaspora are crying, are saying that what's going on? Enough is enough. We've been waiting for every day. There's there are killings, there are massacres. What's going on?
M2 Show, right there. I believe that what's happening now for the UDPS member like myself, and being the representative of this big party here in the United States for a few decades, I can reassure our countrymen that there's no situation that can be going on forever. So there's always going to be the end. As a matter of fact, we are a good example of the patience, because yourself, our leader started this political party back in 1980s. And when did we accede to the power? It's almost over 30 years after. So we are more than prepared to be patient. But what is sure is that at the end of the day, we're going to be victory. We're going to win. Like we win to accede to the power, we're going to win to kick Rwanda and his army out of DRC.
But that's what people are asking. How are you going to win? What way are you going to use? What means are you going to use? Are you going to use force? Are you going to diplomacy? According to them, did not work. What is it going to work?
It is working, because if it did not work, we could not hear some of those stakeholders right now condemning or pointing the fingers at Rwanda or at Paul Kagame, because back in days they did not say it. That was their dog, so they couldn't even say anything about it. But now they are pointing the fingers. Just right last week when that bombing happened in east of DRC. The State Department come up with a statement condemning and calling Rwanda to pull out of Congo his army. So did not happen before, but it's not enough. We need to see the sanction. We need to see the severe action taken against Rwanda. They call Paul Kagame. Why don't they call him up, say, you got to stop? Because they have they have a power to do so. So if they're not doing it, it's kind of like double rules. So in the same token, the stakeholders, I'm sure some of them are here. So we need to, President Tshisekedi have called up to the investors to come up through the front door, negotiate with government, and work in a win-win deal,
yeah.
Partnership.
Yeah.
So they just have to do that, and they can't be going through. And Kagame himself, he's on a defensive now. He has been coming out publicly saying that, he's not the one involved, but the mineral is smuggled through his country. He doesn't stay there. He goes wherever he goes. He called the names: United States, Europe, and Russia. So again, United States need to take severe sanction against what Kagame and his country are doing.
Jack Miango, you are the president of the political party MARC, and you're also an activist. And Mr. Kalal is mentioning sanction, but we heard that there are already some sanction taken. Do you think it's not enough? Is there more sanction need to be taken? Are sanction not the solution to these problems?
Yes, Mr. Roger. First of all, I'll take this opportunity to present our condolences to any family in the eastern of Congo, starting by the president, because it's the whole nation now is crying. It's not only the family in Goma, it's also the president. About the sanction, I'll say one thing. We have to be clear in our language, Congolese, so that we can force the Department of State to change the narrative. M23 is not a rebel movement. M23, it's recorded here in this country as a terrorist movement. And we have to emphasize on that to make sure that when we are talking about the situation in Congo, to make sure that the people understand Congo is under terrorism attacks that Kagame is supporting. And we know that in this country, since 9/11, the U.S. has a fund engaged from the Pentagon that any countries dealing with terrorism can get the fund out of it. And why up to today the Congo is not getting any of those funds? It's just because we are not represented in the Pentagon, because we do not have a
So you think if there was a
military
representative, if it was an attaché there, you think the solution would be, there would be a quick solution?
I don't believe that the Pentagon deal with civil ambassador.
Right, they don't.
They deal directly with the military attaché of the president, who relay directly to the president and not even to the government. Because what we are seeing happening in Congo is not only a situation of government, but it's a situation of interests, personal interests of corporate in this country.
Accordingly, some Congolese are also have a lot of interest on that part, right?
Yeah, a lot of Congolese, especially some of them, were part of the government or part of the previous government. The corruption took place in the Congo.
Yeah. It's a high corruption.
At this time, for this second mandate, I believe that the second term, I believe that the president have really to design an ideology message to who will be in doing business in Congo. You cannot take someone who previously been like a minister and who has failed stealing money, and you bring him again in this government. That will make no sense. And I believe that the integrity of the people, the engagement to serve with love, the integrity to serve with fraternity, that really matter at this time, especially that the Congo now deserve really a big support, humanitarian support that the diaspora we can do. It's good to speak all the time. Rwanda is doing this, we after this, but what we are doing ourselves as Congolese to the situation.
In the country, the diaspora, and we'll get back to it. We're going to listen to the entertainment news first, Michelle. The lady, I think, is Nikki Strong, who's always there for us to give us some news. Nikki.
So, what's going on with Nicki Strong? Drake and Kendrick Lamar continue to drop scathing diss tracks against each other, including Not Like Us from Kendrick and Drake with The Hearts Part 6. Cleverly worded, ruthless allegations include Drake being a pedophile and Kendrick physically assaulting his fiancée. Both also hurled disturbing accusations about each other's children. Ice Spice calls Nicki Minaj ungrateful and delusional in text messages leaked by Spice's former friend. In the thread, Ice Spice, who owns her own masters, reveals that Minaj wanted Spice to sign over all of her publishing rights, including work she may do with third parties. Spice also said she is the one that brought Nicki Minaj the opportunity to be on the Barbie soundtrack. And happy birthday to Adele, who turns 36. Go to Facebook and IG at VOA1 The Hits.
And that's what's going on with Nicki Strong.
That's what's going on with Nikki Strong. Thank you so much, Nikki. You're listening to the RM show at VOA Africa, straight from Washington, D.C., as you do every Wednesday and every Friday. I want to thank you so much. So many people here in the studio with me, my colleague George Lonasonyo, who never missed an English show, unless Roger Muntu not here. Then George is not going to be at all. And it's great to have Jacques Miango, it's also to have Mr. Kanku Kalala. But also, let's go to Paris, meet one of our colleague journalists as well, Karine Maizo, who's joining us from Paris. Karine, it's such a pleasure to have you. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, Roger and listeners. I'm here in Paris, but my English is not very fluent. I speak French every day. It's my first time to speak in English in the Voice of America. I'll try to do my best.
Well, let me surprise you. Your English is better than George Lonasonyo. How's that makes you happy?
You laughing?
Absolutely. He's laughing. I'm honest. That's true. He knows. George knows he's right. Just listen to your English and George. I mean, you sound like a British. George sound like he's from Texas. That's different.
Countryman.
Thank you so much, Karine, for giving us this opportunity. Our subject of the week, question of the week, is like Africans in the diaspora, Congolese in particular, are asking about what's going on in your home country, the DRC. And we all heard, and I was reading about what's happening last Friday, how 9 people got killed, and now the numbers, rose to 13. And they just want to know what's going on. When would this massacres stop in that eastern part of Congo, because it might affect the whole Africa. What did you hear so far from the diaspora in Europe, where you travel a lot?
But I can say that the Congo has been at war for more 30 years. Mm-hmm. And Rwanda is designated as an aggressor by the UN. Mm-hmm. But behind Rwanda, multinationals, the very good man corporation, mm-hmm. Behind Rwanda, many multinationals, many displaced people, women rape, this must stop. Mm. So now the big problem is the economic war. Mm. Because in Congo, we can find all the mineral that it's very important for the electronics industry. Mm-hmm. And many corporations, multinational, comes there to rob, mm-hmm. because they don't buy legally, but they rob these minerals. And for me, I think that an international criminal court must be established to punish the criminal. To punish
this criminal. That's the solution of what you're saying. But and thank you for saying that, because we'll have our colleagues also jump into that. But what are the diaspora, the Congolese diaspora in Europe saying, in Paris in particular? What are you hearing?
We manifested every time. We write to the parliament, to the industrial, to the television. We write. We manifested. we ask the Congolese authority to do something well to stop this situation. We organized many meetings
Right.
to talk about.
Right.
We write books and so forth and so on. But for the moment, we think that the result is not our expectation. But
Right.
we continue to do lobbying.
Kerwin, you are saying that you're asking the Congolese government to do something, and the Congolese government has said repeatedly that they are trying to do something. They are trying different ways. They are trying diplomacy, and they are different. And we'll talk to Kanku Kalala, who's also here with us. He'll tell us. But they have said, the spokesperson of the Congolese government had said that they are trying to do something. So is that not enough for what you see?
It is not enough. We can do better, because now we don't stop diplomatic relation with Rwanda. We don't close our frontier. We don't close that. And we speak every time that Rwanda is an aggressor. Rwanda is an aggressor. But the first thing to do is to reform the army. When you have a decisive army, you will be respected by the neighbor country. But if your army is every time the failed army, your state is a failed state, everybody can respect you. So that is the matter with the DRC government and army. When you see our state is a failed state, so everybody can respect the Congo when we don't have an army, a good army can be that can be decisive to the neighborhood.
To the neighborhood. Thank you, Kerwin. Don't go anywhere. George, you listen to what Kerwin is saying. What's your take on that? Because according to Kerwin, the government is not doing enough and it needs a stronger army. What do you think?
Well, stronger army, Roger, yes, but I want the leadership to stand up. And I'm glad that one of the representatives here, Mr. Kalala, I'm calling on you guys. You need to stand up for Congo. Congo has suffered a lot. Okay? He's just mentioned stakeholders. So we have M23, we have Codeco, we have all the militias, killing in Congo. What the government is doing, they need to, I know Congo is a huge country, Roger. It's very huge. It's difficult to maybe secure. How many, the regional body came to fight in Congo to help the Congolese government to fight? I'm talking about the SADC army. They went there, nothing. Burundi came, nothing. Maybe we might ask African Union to send the troops in there to fight. But
I think some of the African Union were there too.
Yeah, at the same time, we need a leadership to stand up. Strong leadership.
That's a good question. We need to jump into Mr. Kala to respond to that. Yeah.
It's very good. It's a very good point that you're raising. But you guys need to understand that Congo has been ruled by foreigners for way too long. It's for the first time since Mobutu was gone that we have Congolese ahead of the Congo. And do not forget that the Congo government or Congo army has been infiltrated from lower military to the high level, even generals. So, as a matter of fact, if you're following what's going on in the Congo, you will find out that there's a lot of arrestation going on with those people who are playing double standards. So, again, we cannot just wipe out all the army because, like I'm telling you, it's infiltrated to the teeth. So it's like a snake surrounding your calabash. You're not going to take a can or what do you call it, bedding
stick
and hit the snake because you're going to crush your calabash.
But your party has been on power for more than 4 years. What are the reforms that have you done to resolve the problem? Because this has been ongoing issues in Congo.
Yes.
And when Mr. Tshisekedi came, there were a hope. There's still a hope. Because he knows the problem. He came from the diaspora. He were in Europe for a long time. He came to Washington. He came to VOA. But today, after all those years on power, what your party is doing to secure the Congolese. Congolese are dying every day.
Again, to show you that there's a big improvement, we just finished the first mandate, and now we organized the election. I'm sure a few months back, the word talks that the election is not going to take place and Tshisekedi is not capable, but the world is proven wrong. We still have people here in the United States who are actually not believing that the election was fair and transparent. So that just means that these people are on the wrong side. So we cannot please everybody. So what is true is that big effort is made, and the army is not the same that we found when we took power. There's a lot of reform in the army, and there's a lot of training going on. We cannot be here in the television talking about what we're doing. But there's a lot of changes.
Mr. Kalala, we're not here to, I'm not pointing a finger on the army. I'm not a politician. Okay, but it's your responsibility to reform any kind of reform you want to do. But how are you doing it when we're talking about corruption? Because corruption is also a silent killer, is a big issue in Africa.
Big time.
Yes. Again, about 6 or 7 years ago, you did not hear any official of the government being actually called by the court to testify or to be questioned,
to even be arrested.
To be even arrested. It's the first time in the history of the Congo that we are even arresting the ministers. So that means that they are held accountable. So they it's a shadow of the leader. Tshisekedi have said one day that even you are my friend, we went to school together, but if you don't obey to the rules,
you get arrested.
You get arrested.
That's it. Let me jump to a question, Michel. I'll ask Kerwin. We just heard what Mr. Kalala is saying here before I ask Jacques Miango. But Kerwin, Mr. Kalala just said that we've never seen in the past government a minister being called to justify financial whatever, or even being arrested. What's your take on that? Do you think that's a progress, or you think there's more that needs to be done?
No, I think that it's just many speaking, but the authorities are not credible. They really on order. The force is corruption, mismanagement. The force is Rwanda. The force is Burundi, the force is, and so forth and so on. But the mismanagement in Congo is the cause of that the mismanagement prevents us to have a stronger army. Alors, to say that we put on jail the minister, the leader of the PDG, the
CEO.
There is not the main problem. We must put them on jail, and they must refund the money that he touched.
Yeah, the money that they took.
But to cry everywhere, yes, I put on jail and so on and so on. That is not the solution.
Right.
He must work really to stop the mismanagement.
Let me get back to Jacques Miango. Jacques Miango, react to that one, because that's what some Congolese also have been saying. I think you roughly mentioned again in the French show when we did that. But there are people who are being arrested, but no, yes, that like Kanku say. Let's say this is great that they're being arrested, they're being called. Yes, we never seen that before. That's great. But Karine just said a good point here. Okay, you stole $50, you get arrested, but where's the $50? We don't get it back. Okay, you release, that's great, you leave. So where's the $50? Nobody knows where the $50 is. That's a problem. And we're talking about corruption. We're talking about all that. What's your take on that, really?
And I believe...
is there something wrong with justice?
In this subject, we have... really to define who's doing what, and is it the person qualified to do it? Because many people, they believe today is the job of the president to go and arrest people who are stealing. And I believe that's not his job. It's not his main job. That's the job of the chief of the government, I believe, and the justice side. But because the corruption started a while ago, And it's not only in one term that you can end corruption, but you have to start showing your will that I need to end this. Especially as I mentioned, most of those people, like the government have to have a standard of application. Those who are applying to be minister, they have to meet some kind of criteria. It's not only because you have this such kind of diploma that you're qualified. They have to look at on your integrity. In any job here in America, only for maybe $50, you may lose your place in the Senate here in the US. But in Congo, people are stealing in terms of millions. But the next government is still willing to be a part of it. Why? Because the political system that we have is killing us. Is the system very deeply corrupted? Instead of getting even the voice from the population, honestly, but they are going to buy people. Why they are buying people? Because people are suffering. How come a deputy, someone working for the parliament, making over $10,000 a month, and the person who's teaching making less than $300 a month? There is a big gap in the salary. That shows that the country is not well established to support, to let population live by the mean.
And George was saying that's a leadership problem.
And
so it's a leader's problem.
That's a leadership problem if the leadership do not do. But we see at least with the actual president, Tshisekedi, there are so many cases, a lot of arrestation. But it's not his job to go to follow to the justice the person that you arrest, release him while you release him. That now in the capacity of our army, for those who are stealing, like selling the military material, for those who are stealing money, EGF and the justice, that's their job. I believe it's not the job of the president.
So if they're not doing their job right, they need to be fired.
They have to be fired. That's why I can say the leadership part of the president may be affected, because you cannot keep amongst the government people who have no value, people who does not even respect to be Congolese, because Congolese way back was an honor to be a Congolese man, because many people used to travel to come to Congo because we had those kind of integrity. And no, maybe people don't know, your father used to work in the government. Look at the integrity of your father. Do you see that today? We don't see it. Amongst all of those people who are in the government, we cannot see it. Even people are blaming the president today. It's good to blame. But if you see the idea of the UDPS or any other political party before the 1980s was for the best interests of Congolese. But today, most of those parties, it's for the best interest of me and my family, which means the president, even if he has the good idea, but he does not have the means to implement it. That means he have to look at well on his second term who will be
and that's what you said.
Government.
Yeah, and that's what you say, to really be careful who's going to come back.
Who's going to come back.
Still, George, you probably want to react.
Yeah, Roger, Mr. Kalala and Mr. Miyango just said accountability and also integrity. And I've been telling you this, leadership, again, and leadership. How could you believe that in Congo and elsewhere in Africa, when you go to the airport, after you start there, you see a policeman who will ask you for Madesu Yabana, meaning in Lingala. That's one of the first words that I learned.
What does that mean in English?
Madesu is a how do you call in France, beans.
Beans.
Okay, Madesi Yabana, I want something I want some beans.
How would you translate it in English?
In English, it means corruption. You see me, okay? Let me see, our engineer.
I told you Karen speak good English.
Nelson, go to DRC today or elsewhere in Africa, from right there in the airport, they check the passport, okay, to check in. And then after that, the policeman or the custom officer will say, okay, we'll keep the passport asking you, Madesu Yabana. You are coming from the US. We don't do that here. You check my passport, I have my visa to get in, let me get in. And people are doing that in the airport right there. The country image is very, affected by seeing that. Or if you want to use the restroom, they will ask you. That happened to me in Lome. I went to the restroom. The guy who was cleaning the janitor, he asked me, my brother, I want something. I was surprised. I said, what do you want? I thought, come here to use your restroom, and you're asking me for something. Those are to stop. Those kind of behavior have to stop.
Definitely. Yeah, go ahead.
If I can jump on that,
please.
Again, we need to look back and see where we're coming from. So we're talking about the cap on the pay of the employees or functionaries. So back in the days, I believe the teachers were getting, I don't know, $30, maybe 40, 50. Army soldiers, they were getting, I don't know, 20. Whatever. But from that to what they are getting now, there's a big difference. It's like a 300% of a raise. But we don't stop there. I'm sure there's a lot of reform still going on to try to improve the level of the life of the ordinary Congolese.
Mr.
As a matter of fact, let me finish. As a matter of fact, there's actually one of my favorite article of our constitution is the Article 58, which is talking about the worth of the country to be shared by all the countrymen. I don't know how we apply that now, but I would love to see that being applied, so every Congolese can enjoy the worthiness of our country. So to go back to what the government is doing, look at the constitution itself. Did put in place the free primary or elementary school, but it never was applied. And we have the free
maternity.
have an answer for you.
Yeah.
I don't agree on that. Right, Mr. Kalala, you want to say something about that?
Yes, I believe that
Congo is making progress, right?
my friend is actually basing his argument on rumors.
Okay.
So we need to
Fake
we can't
news,
just
you wanna say?
fake news. We cannot accuse somebody because we heard on a radio somebody say it. We got to. No one is guilty until proven guilty. So that's rule of laws. So we got to let the justice do his work. And when it's found that the person is guilty, then they condemn him.
So do you think the justice in Congo is working?
The justice is working. It might be at the level that we need it, but there's work to be still done.
To be still done. Mr. Kala, let me ask you about, let's get back to the situation in Rwanda, I mean, in the eastern part of the Congo. What do you think the solution is, or what should be?
Personally,
Yes.
this is my opinion.
Yes, this is your opinion.
Personally,
Yeah.
I believe that Rwanda is our neighbors. And back in the days, we used to live together. And the Rwandese, they were in the Congo, even here in the state, we lived with them, close friend. And what's happening now is this ego of that Kagame guy. So Kagame is the problem. So I believe that the situation of Congo is going to be resolved by the Congolese. No one from Europe, from a state, whatever, Congolese. The day we will stand up as one man, we will kick Rwanda out of Congo.
Stand as one man. Do you agree? Do you have something to add to that? What's
yes,
the solution to this problem?
I believe the solution, I keep repeating myself, it's a representation of the DRC in the Pentagon.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
The key solution, because that will open truly the secret diplomacy. Because we have the public diplomacy of this country that being treated by the State Department, and we have the secret diplomacy of this country that even sometimes Blinken or some people in the State Department, they don't even know what America is thinking about to do in the next 20 years. But some people, low level in the Pentagon, they know exactly what they are planning to do in 20 years. We have to have that approach. And also we have to use our cultural value.
How so?
Because that go with the media. Because we have good artists who can sing, who can communicate to call other people in the Congolese cause instead of putting like a pressure on them to do not play music in Europe or anywhere. I believe that time is already past. You cannot keep punishing your child for life. It makes no sense. There is a time you punish, there is a time you release and you support. And also to make sure that on the president's second term, to put more emphasis in the reform in our administration. I'll give you one example. In this country, we have someone representing the president, is the ambassador, which means anyone traveling officially from the DRC to the US have to have such kind of communication with the ambassador. But I see many times, not only under President Tshisekedi, even way back, anytime official from the DRC comes here, sometimes they have no contact with the ambassador. And what they are coming to do here is what? They are coming to marketing business when, like in Congo, we have the agency that the president gives life back, like ANAPI, National Agency for Investment. I believe ANAPI have to travel a lot in the US to seek for market. ANAPEX for exportation, because today we are speaking about the AGOA Act that under President Tshisekedi, the Congo is back in the AGOA Act. But what kind of product the Congolese are selling in the US? None. Why?
So that's a problem. Economically,
Because
that's not.
Economically, we nowhere, because instead of letting whoever in charge of ANAPEX to come in the US to contact AGOA, Prosper Africa, USAID from here to gain market business, but ministers traveling themselves to come here trying to do that. That means that a failure in our administration and also role of those people in power. I believe in the second term, the president have really to look after that.
The second term, that's what everybody's waiting. Let's play some music. Michelle, if you have some for us, we're going to breathe with some music and we'll be right back. Until next time, peace. Thank you, Lady DJ. You're listening to the RM Show at VOA Africa, straight from Washington, D.C. I have a question for Kerwin Maizo. Kerwin Maizo, Mr. Kankukalala said here, a solution to this problem, all Congolese should be together in order to be able to fight. Meanwhile, we see divisions and tribalism, people from Luba tribe not getting along with people from Congo tribe or from Swahili tribe. What's going on? Why all divisions are happening now, Kerwin?
But I think that the first thing President must do is to put on place or to ask for an international criminal court to put criminal out of arms way and strong leadership to rebuild Congo. That is the first thing. The second thing is the president must stop complaining and also stop unit trips which consume our meager means. And the third thing, the president must provide the Congolese unity. Because if you see, when you talk about tribe, if you see in the neighborhood of president, he works with his family and his tribe. Or president born in Kinshasa, that is a very big multicultural city, and he grew in Belgium, that is a multicultural country. So for me, it's a big problem to say that Quinoa, and we said that in France,
Right.
the people of Kinshasa,
From Kinshasa, yep.
like Tshisekedi, doing things like that works with our tribes. It's very dangerous. I ask President Tshisekedi to change.
To change that. Thank you, Kerwin. Kankukala, I'll let you react to this because this is a big problem too. They're saying that, as you just heard him say, that most people who work with President or around President Tshisekedi are from his tribe, Luba tribe. Is that right?
I don't think so. I think that my friend might be maybe reading the wrong book because if you look at his bodyguard, the guy who's right behind him, he's not Luba. And if you look in different ministers, it's not only Luba there. You're talking about, we have a Kamere who's with him. We have Mr. Eberand who's there. I mean, we have a lot of people. As a matter of fact, there is actually talks among the Luba themselves thinking that they are being ignored because most of the government entourage, they are not Luba. So I don't know where he's getting his information from. If he can name maybe a list, but I don't think it's true. No.
Jacques, what to react to it?
We can even look at the ambassador here. He's not a Luba. She's not Luba.
I believe in the country like Congo, we have to pass this notion of tribe.
Yeah.
We have to see ourselves as one, as a Congolese. And now that we are facing this tragedy of bombing in our country, that have to stay in our focus. And I'll be calling really our embassy here
in the US?
to the ambassador in the US to open an account where all Congolese they can contribute to respond to humanitarian crisis in the eastern of Congo. And we have also a lot of Congolese here who will be
quickly.
Who will be voting. We have to consider that this is a electoral year in the US, and we have to take advantage on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jack Miango. Thank you, George. Thank you, Michelle Joseph. Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, Mr. Kanku Kalala. And the video is getting Zainab now. Thank you, Zainab. It was a great show, and I thank you so much. God bless. Peace, Africa.